Hey everybody, this is David Minns from G4 Guitar Schools, and in this lesson today we're going to be taking a look at the chords required for the Junior Level 5 certificate. Okay, there are 6 chords we're going to take a look at. We'll look at them each individually and understand how they're named and why they're named that particular way. And don't feel you have to learn all 6 chords in one go. Much better take it nice and slowly, learn each chord at each time. Also, go back and review all the other chords that you've learned so far. Okay, in my opinion, the most important tool that a guitar player has, excuse the fire engine or police car going past, the most important tool that the guitar player has are chords. Okay, a chord vocabulary is number 1. Okay, so the first chord we're going to take a look at is a C major 7 chord. Sounds like this. A nice sort of airy feeling, nice floaty feeling. Okay, and we play it really by taking a C major chord, which we know, and the fingers are the same as if we take the first finger away from the C major chord. Okay, so our third finger is here on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and our second finger is there on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and that's it. Okay, now the reason it's called a major 7 chord, let's take a look at that. So if we take our C major chord and take away our first finger and we examine what we've just done by doing that, we've taken a note of C from the C major chord and made it a note of B. Okay, so that's what's happened. There's my C major with that C note, and there's my C major 7 without it. So I've introduced a note of B into the C major chord. So the note of B is going to be the 7th note you find in the C major scale, the major scale associated to that chord. So I take a C major scale and I number the notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my B note. Okay, C major 7 chord. That's why it's important, everyone, as you go forward learning more things, is chords are good, but also the scales that go with them are also useful because it ties everything together. Okay, so that's your C major 7 chord. So the next chord we're going to take a look at is the D major 7 chord, another major 7. And it sounds like that, a little more floaty, more of an airy sort of sound again. Okay, and we play that by taking our first finger and barring the first 3 strings 3, 2 and 1 on the 2nd fret. Okay, and we play this from the 4th string down. Okay, so let's dig in and take a look at this chord. Okay, so if we backtrack to a D major chord, which we know, and examine what we do, what we gain by taking our finger, that note away down to our first finger across the first 3 notes. We've taken this note of D down a half step to a note of C sharp. Okay, so as music is consistent, this is the same thing as is happening when we looked at the C major 7 chord. So if we take our D major 7 chord and we play the notes from the D major scale, okay, and again we number those notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my C sharp. There's the note in my D major 7 chord. Okay, so that's your D major 7 chord. So let's look now at the F major 7 chord. There it is. Again, floaty, airy sounding major 7 chord. Okay, so we play this by putting our first finger on the 1st fret 2nd string, the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret 4th string. And we play that from the 4th string down, with the note here being the note of F on the 3rd fret 4th string for our root note. And we play all 4 strings. So it's that last note of E, which is the open E string, which is the major 7th note, okay, against F. So if we take our F major scale and count up that scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, again there's my 7th note of E for the F major 7 chord. Moving on, let's take a look at the next chord, which is going to be an A7 chord. Okay, and it sounds like this. Okay, So what we have here is we have our second finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, our 3rd finger on the 2nd fret 2nd string. Okay, and we're going to play, those are the only 2 fingers we need to press down, and we're going to play this from the 5th string down. Okay, there's the individual notes. Okay, so the root note being A on the 5th string, okay, gives us that chord again. So let's review those fingers. So the 2nd finger goes on the 2nd fret 4th string, 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret 2nd string. The 3rd string is open. So that is an A7 chord. So let's take a look at this and find out where that gets its name from. So if we compare this shape to our A major shape, there's A major which we know, there's A7 which we know now. Okay, so the notes that's changed is this guy. The 2nd fret on the 3rd string has moved from an A note to a G note. Okay, now this is interesting because it gives us a different type of 7th note. Okay, so in music there are 2 types of 7. There's a major 7 and a flat 7. Okay, so we'll talk more in the lessons about this, but for right now let's understand the flat 7. In this case, this A note going down to G is a whole step below the note it started from. So what I mean by a whole step is 2 frets, so it's on the guitar. So I take my note of A and I drop it to G. That is a whole step, and that gets me an A7 chord. Okay, so that's that guy there. Moving on, let's take a look at the C7 chord. Okay, so the C7 chord, not the C major 7 which we looked at, this is the C7 chord. Okay, we take our regular C chord, this one's a little tricky, and we take our little finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, here's got a very different sound to the major 7 chord. Okay, so the note we've added, this note here, 3rd fret on the 3rd string, is a note of B flat. B flat is a whole step below the note of C. There's my B flat. So this gives us a flat 7 against the note of C. Not the major 7, the flat 7. Okay, so we've got a C7 chord played like that. Okay, last chord. And the last chord we're going to look at will be the D7 chord. D7 chord looks like this. Okay, and it kind of goes hand in hand with sort of the D major we looked at, the D major 7, and then now the D7 chord. So the D7 chord here we play with our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, 1st finger on the 1st fret 2nd string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret number 1 string, and we play from the 4th string down. D7 chord. Okay, so again what's happened is if we compare that to the D major chord, this note of D on the 3rd fret 2nd string has dropped a whole step down to become the note of C. So that's become the flat 7. Okay, if you remember with the D major 7 we went 1 step down, C sharp, which gave us a major 7. So a major 7 is 1 step below your root note. A flat 7 is a whole step below your root note. Okay, so this is additional information to know. Just let it seep in a little bit, learn the chord shapes, and the best way to do this really is once you've got these chord shapes down, make some comparisons. Go back and look at, say, D major. Okay, look at D major 7. Look at D7. Okay, and you'll hear some songs in there which we'll talk about. Okay, and do this with all the chords. So if you've got a chord like we've looked at, C major 7, so we've got C major 7, we've got C major that we know, we have C7. So go back and play those 3 chords and look for which notes are changing. Okay, again, chords are your biggest friend, they're your biggest vocabulary from a guitar player's point of view, so we really need to pay attention and keep these guys going. Hope this is useful. If you have any questions, then just let me know. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.